Deep within the heart of a dense bamboo forest, there lived a kind and compassionate red panda named Rufus, with his rust-colored fur and gentle eyes. Rufus was known throughout the forest as the guardian, always ready to lend a helping paw to those in need. One sunny morning, as Rufus patrolled the forest, he stumbled upon a group of frightened animals huddled together beneath a towering oak tree. Their home was threatened by a raging wildfire, and they didn't know where to turn. Seeing the fear in their eyes, Rufus sprang into action. He rallied the animals together and led them through hidden paths and secret trails, guiding them to safety away from the flames. As the fire raged on, Rufus refused to rest until every creature in the forest was safe. He braved the heat and smoke, darting back and forth through the burning underbrush, rescuing trapped animals and leading them to safety. When the last ember had finally been extinguished, the animals gathered around Rufus, their eyes shining with gratitude. They hailed him as their hero and thanked him for his bravery and selflessness in the face of danger. But Rufus simply smiled and shook his head. "I am no hero," he said humbly. "I am just a humble red panda who cares deeply for the forest and all who dwell within it." From that day forth, Rufus was known as the guardian of the forest, revered by all for his courage and compassion. And though he may have been small in size, his heart was as big as the forest itself, a shining example of the power of kindness and empathy in the face of adversity. And as he watched over the forest from his perch in the treetops, Rufus knew that he would always be there to protect and care for his beloved home, ensuring that it remained a safe haven for all who sought shelter beneath its canopy. In a sun-kissed meadow, there bloomed a vibrant garden of sunflowers known as the Joyful Sunflower Garden. These cheerful flowers were special, for they had a unique ability. Their faces followed the sun as it journeyed across the sky. At the heart of the Joyful Sunflower Garden stood a wise old sunflower named Sunny, with petals as bright as the golden sun and a spirit as radiant as its rays. Sunny watched over the garden and its inhabitants with love and care. Every morning, as the sun peeked over the horizon, the sunflowers in the garden would turn their faces toward its warm embrace, their petals unfurling like golden rays reaching for the sky. Throughout the day, they would follow the sun's path across the heavens, their faces turning with each movement, as though dancing to an invisible melody. One day, a young girl named Maya visited the Joyful Sunflower Garden with her grandmother. Entranced by the sight of the sunflowers swaying in the breeze, Maya couldn't help but marvel at their beauty and wonder. "Why do the sunflowers follow the sun?" she asked her grandmother, her eyes wide with curiosity. Her grandmother smiled and patted her hand. "It's their way of seeking warmth and light," she explained. "Just like how we seek love and happiness in our lives." Maya nodded thoughtfully, her gaze lingering on Sunny, the wise old sunflower at the center of the garden. She felt a sense of admiration for the sunflowers and their unwavering devotion to the sun, even as it journeyed across the sky. As Maya watched, she noticed something remarkable. Even on cloudy days when the sun was hidden from view, the sunflowers still turned their faces toward where they knew it would be, their faith unwavering in its return. Inspired by the sunflower's resilience and optimism, Maya felt a warmth spread through her heart. She realized that, like the sunflowers, she too could find joy and strength in the face of adversity by following her own path and seeking the light within. From that day forth, whenever Maya felt lost or uncertain, she would think of the Joyful Sunflower Garden and the sunflower's unwavering devotion to the sun. And as she turned her face toward the light, she knew that she was not alone, for like the sunflowers, she was surrounded by love, warmth, and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. In a tranquil forest nestled between towering trees, there stood a wise old pinnacle named Piney. Though small and unassuming, Piney possessed a special gift, the ability to listen and hold the secrets of the forest within its tiny core. One sunny morning, as the forest was bathed in golden light, a curious rabbit named Rosie hopped into Piney's grove. Intrigued by the tales she had heard of the whispering Pinnacone, Rosie approached Piney with a shy smile. "Hello, Piney," greeted Rosie, her voice soft as the breeze. "I've heard that you hold the secrets of the forest within you. Is it true?" Piney nodded gently, its scales rustling with a soft sigh. "Yes, little one," replied Piney. "I have listened to the whispers of the trees and the songs of the birds, and I hold their secrets within my core." Rosie's eyes widened with wonder. "Could you share some of those secrets with me?" she asked, her ears twitching with excitement. Piney hesitated for a moment before nodding. "Of course, little one," said Piney, "but first, we must listen." And so, Rosie and Piney sat together in the dappled sunlight, their hearts attuned to the rhythm of the forest. They listened as the wind whispered through the trees, as the birds sang their sweet melodies, and as the leaves rustled in the gentle breeze. As they listened, Rosie felt a sense of calm wash over her, as if the worries of the world were melting away like morning dew in the warmth of the sun. She realized that in the quiet stillness of the forest, she could find peace and solace in the simple act of listening. When the sun began to set and the forest grew quiet, Piney spoke once more. "The greatest secret of all, little one, is the power of silence," whispered Piney, "for in the silence, we find the space to listen, to learn, and to grow." Rosie nodded in understanding, her heart filled with gratitude for the wisdom of the whispering Pinnacone. With a gentle smile, she bid Piney farewell and ventured back into the forest, carrying with her the seeds of silence that would guide her on her journey through life. And as she hopped away, Piney whispered a silent prayer, knowing that Rosie would carry the secrets of the forest within her heart, nurturing them like precious seeds and allowing them to grow and flourish in the fertile soil of her soul. In the heart of a vast desert, where the sun blazed relentlessly and the sand stretched for miles in every direction, there lay a hidden gem known as the Tranquil Desert Oasis. This oasis was not just a patch of water in the desert. It was a sanctuary of calmness and serenity, offering respite to all who sought its shelter. At the center of the Tranquil Desert Oasis stood a crystal-clear pool, surrounded by lush palm trees and fragrant flowers. Despite the harsh conditions of the desert, this oasis remained an oasis of life, providing water and refuge to creatures great and small. One scorching afternoon, a weary traveler named Maya stumbled upon the Tranquil Desert Oasis. Dehydrated and exhausted from her journey, she collapsed beside the pool, her lips cracked and her throat parched. To her amazement, a gentle breeze rustled through the palm trees, carrying with it the sweet scent of the flowers and the soothing sound of trickling water. Maya felt a sense of calm wash over her, like a cool wave on a hot summer's day. As she drank from the pool and rested in the shade of the palm trees, Maya realized that she had found a haven of calmness in the midst of the desert. Here, amidst the harsh conditions of the desert, life flourished in abundance, and peace reigned supreme. From that day forth, Maya returned to the Tranquil Desert Oasis whenever she felt overwhelmed by the chaos of the world. She would sit beside the pool, listening to the gentle rustle of the palm trees and watching the sunlight dance upon the water, feeling a sense of calmness and serenity wash over her. And as she gazed upon the oasis, Maya knew that she had found a place of refuge and renewal, the sanctuary of peace in the midst of the desert's harshness, where life flourished and calmness reigned supreme for all who sought its shelter. In a vast forest nestled between towering mountains, there resided a compassionate bear named Benjamin. Benjamin was known throughout the forest for his kind heart and willingness to help others in need. His home, the compassionate bear's den, was not just a cozy cave amidst the trees. It was a sanctuary of warmth and shelter for all creatures, big and small. One stormy night, as rain lashed against the trees and thunder rumbled in the distance, a timid fox named Felix found himself lost and alone in the forest. Seeking refuge from the harsh elements, Felix stumbled upon the compassionate bear's den. With a hesitant paw, Felix approached the den, his heart pounding with fear. To his surprise, Benjamin greeted him with a warm smile and invited him inside. "Welcome, little one," said Benjamin, his voice gentle and reassuring. You are safe here. Come, rest by the fire and warm yourself." Grateful for Benjamin's kindness, Felix curled up by the fire, feeling the warmth seep into his bones. As he listened to the comforting crackle of the flames, he felt a sense of peace wash over him, knowing that he was no longer alone in the storm. As the night wore on, Benjamin shared stories of the forest and its inhabitants, filling the den with laughter and joy. Felix listened intently, his fears fading away with each tale. When morning broke and the storm had passed, Felix prepared to leave the compassionate bear's den and continue his journey through the forest. But before he could go, Benjamin stopped him with a gentle paw. "Remember, Felix," said Benjamin, his eyes filled with warmth, "no matter where your journey may take you, you will always have a friend and a shelter here in the compassionate bear's den." Touched by Benjamin's words, Felix nodded gratefully and bid farewell to his newfound friend. As he ventured back into the forest, he carried with him the memory of the compassionate bear's den and the kindness of its inhabitant, knowing that no matter what challenges he faced, he would always find shelter and comfort in times of need. And as Benjamin watched Felix disappear into the trees, he smiled, knowing that he had fulfilled his purpose as the guardian of the compassionate bear's den to offer shelter and solace to those who needed it most, and to spread kindness and compassion throughout the forest, one act of generosity at a time. In a sun-kissed meadow where wildflowers swayed in the gentle breeze, there lived a group of dandelions known as the laughing dandelions. Despite their humble appearance, these cheerful flowers possessed a magical gift. They could spread smiles wherever they went. Every morning, as the first light of dawn painted the sky in shades of pink and gold, the laughing dandelions would awaken with laughter bubbling from their petals. With each giggle, tiny droplets of dew would scatter into the air, catching the sunlight and creating a dazzling display of sparkle and shine. One day, a young girl named Lily stumbled upon the meadow where the laughing dandelions dwelled. Intrigued by the sound of laughter, she followed the sound until she came upon the cheerful flowers, their golden heads bobbing in the breeze. "Hello, little ones," greeted Lily, her voice soft and curious. "What brings you such joy?" The laughing dandelions swayed in the wind, their laughter growing louder as they welcomed Lily into their midst. "We spread smiles wherever we go," they exclaimed, their voices tinkling like bells in the air. Intrigued by their claim, Lily watched as the laughing dandelions scattered their seeds into the wind, their laughter mingling with the rustle of leaves and the chirping of birds. And to her amazement, wherever the seeds landed, they sprouted into tiny dandelions, each one bursting with laughter and joy. As Lily watched the dandelions dance in the sunlight, she felt a warmth spread through her heart. She realized that even the smallest acts of kindness, like sharing a smile or a laugh, could brighten someone's day and spread happiness far and wide. From that day forth, whenever Lily felt sad or lonely, she would return to the meadow where the laughing dandelions dwelled, allowing their laughter to lift her spirits and fill her heart with joy. And as she danced among the flowers, she knew that she was never truly alone, for the laughing dandelions were always there to spread smiles and laughter wherever they went. In the heart of an ancient eucalyptus forest, there lived a compassionate koala named Cora. With her soft fur and gentle eyes, Cora was loved by all the creatures of the forest for her kind and caring nature. One day, as Cora ventured through the treetops in search of juicy eucalyptus leaves, she heard a faint cry for help echoing through the forest. Following the sound, Cora discovered a young possum named Pippin stranded on a high branch, too scared to climb down. With a warm smile, Cora approached Pippin and gently offered her paw. "Don't worry, little one," she reassured. "I'll help you down safely." Grateful for Cora's kindness, Pippin timidly accepted her offer and clasped onto Cora's furry arm. With slow and deliberate movements, Cora guided Pippin down the tree, reassuring her with soothing words along the way. As they reached the forest floor, Pippin let out a sigh of relief, her eyes shining with gratitude. "Thank you, Cora," she said. "You're the kindest koala in the whole forest." Cora smiled warmly at Pippin. "It was my pleasure to help," she replied. "Remember, we all need a helping hand from time to time." From that day on, Cora made it her mission to lend a helping hand to any creature in need. Whether it was rescuing a bird's nest from a high branch or guiding a lost squirrel back to its family, Cora's compassionate heart knew no bounds. And as news of Cora's kindness spread throughout the forest, the creatures began to look up to her as a symbol of compassion and generosity. For in a world where kindness often feels scarce, Cora's actions served as a reminder that even the smallest acts of compassion can make a world of difference. As the sun set over the eucalyptus forest, Cora climbed to her favorite tree branch and gazed out at the twinkling stars above. And as she closed her eyes, her heart filled with a sense of peace and fulfillment, knowing that she had made a positive impact on the lives of those around her. For Cora, the true joy of life lay not in climbing the tallest trees or reaching the highest branches, but in lending a helping hand to those in need and spreading kindness and compassion wherever she went. In a vibrant garden filled with blooming flowers and buzzing bees, there lived a tiny hummingbird named Ruby, with feathers as bright as rubies and a heart full of joy. Ruby was known throughout the garden for her boundless energy and infectious laughter. Every morning, as the first light of dawn painted the sky in shades of pink and gold, Ruby would awaken with a song in her heart. With a flutter of her wings, she would dart from flower to flower, sipping nectar and spreading joy wherever she went. One day, as Ruby flitted among the flowers, she noticed a group of butterflies dancing in the sunlight. Envious of their graceful flight, she longed to join them in their joyful dance. "Oh, how I wish I could fly like them," sighed Ruby, her voice filled with longing. To her surprise, a wise old bee named Buzz overheard Ruby's lament and buzzed over to her with a gentle smile. "Do not be disheartened, little one," said Buzz, his voice as sweet as honey. "You may not have wings like the butterflies, but you have something even more special, gift of joy." Ruby tilted her head, puzzled. "But how can my joy help me fly?" she asked. Buzz chuckled softly and landed on a nearby flower, his wings buzzing with excitement. "Close your eyes and feel the joy within your heart," he instructed. "Let it lift you up and carry you on the wind." With a leap of faith, Ruby closed her eyes and let herself be carried away by the music of her heart. To her amazement, she felt herself rising into the air, her wings beating in time with the rhythm of her joy. As she soared through the garden, Ruby realized that it wasn't the size of her wings that mattered, but the joy in her heart that gave her the power to fly. With each beat of her wings, she spread happiness and laughter to all who watched her darting through the air. From that day forth, Ruby embraced her unique gift with delight, knowing that true joy was not found in soaring to great heights, but in savoring each moment and spreading happiness wherever she went. And as she danced through the garden, her laughter echoed in the breeze, a reminder to all that even the smallest creatures can make the biggest impact when they live with joy in their hearts. In a lush meadow nestled beneath the shade of towering trees, there lived a community of crickets known as the Contented Crickets. Each evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, they would gather together to create their melodious chorus, filling the air with the sweet sounds of their songs. Led by their wise elder, Crispin, the Contented Crickets believed in the power of harmony and unity. They understood that by singing together, they could create something truly magical, a symphony that echoed through the meadow and touched the hearts of all who heard it. One summer evening, as the Contented Crickets prepared to begin their nightly chorus, they noticed that one of their members, a young cricket named Jasper, seemed troubled. His chirps were out of tune, and his movements were hesitant. "What troubles you, young Jasper?" asked Crispin, his antennae twitching with concern. Jasper sighed, his eyes downcast. "I fear that I do not belong in the chorus," he confessed. "My chirps are not as beautiful as yours, and I fear I am bringing discord to our harmony." Crispin smiled gently and placed a comforting claw on Jasper's shoulder. "Do not be disheartened, my friend," he said. Each cricket has a unique voice, and it is the combination of our differences that makes our chorus truly special. With Crispin's encouragement, Jasper took a deep breath and joined his fellow crickets in song. At first, his chirps were hesitant and uncertain, but as he listened to the harmonious melodies of his companions, he found the courage to let his voice ring out. And to his surprise, Jasper discovered that his chirps added a new dimension to the chorus, filling the gaps between the other crickets' songs with a delicate counterpoint that complemented their melodies perfectly. As the contented crickets' chorus echoed through the meadow, Jasper felt a sense of belonging unlike anything he had ever known. He realized that his voice, though different from the others, was an essential part of the harmony they created together. From that day forth, Jasper sang with confidence and joy, his chirps blending seamlessly with those of his fellow crickets. And as they sang, they knew that their chorus was a testament to the power of unity and acceptance, proving that when we embrace our differences and sing in harmony, we can create something truly beautiful that resonates throughout the world. In a peaceful garden at the edge of a bustling town, there hung a set of wind chimes unlike any other. They were known as the laughing wind chimes, for whenever the gentle breeze swept through the garden, they would fill the air with the most delightful laughter. Each chime had its own unique voice and personality. There was Melody, whose tinkling laughter was as light as a summer breeze. Harmony, whose deep, resonant tones echoed like distant thunder. And Joy, whose playful giggles danced on the wine like raindrops on a pond. Together, the laughing wind chimes created a symphony of sound that enchanted all who heard it. Their laughter brought joy and warmth to the hearts of the townsfolk, lifting their spirits on even the gloomiest of days. But one day, a fierce storm swept through the town, its howling winds threatening to tear the laughing wind chimes from their perch in the garden. As the chimes clanged and rattled in the tempest, fear gripped their hearts. "We must hold on, dear friends," cried Melody, her delicate notes quivering with uncertainty. "If we stay strong and support each other, we can weather this storm together." With a determined nod, Harmony joined his voice with Melody's, adding his deep tones to the cacophony of sound. "We are stronger together than we are apart," he proclaimed, his voice booming like distant thunder. And so, with their voices united in harmony, the laughing wind chimes braved the storm. Though the wind howled and the rain lashed against them, they held fast to each other, refusing to be torn apart. As the storm clouds finally parted and the sun emerged once more, the laughing wind chimes found themselves still hanging in the garden, battered but unbroken. And as the gentle breeze began to stir once more, they began to laugh. Their laughter rang out through the garden, more joyous and triumphant than ever before. For they had faced the storm together and emerged stronger for it, their voices singing in harmony as a testament to the power of friendship and unity. And from that day forth, whenever the wind blew through the garden, the laughing wind chimes sang out with even greater joy and resilience, their laughter echoing through the town and reminding all who heard it of the strength that lies in coming together as one.